Hello and welcome to STEM with Mr. N, where I perform different demonstrations and explain the science behind what we're seeing. If you like science and art, then this week's video is for you as I explore paper marbling. Let's check it out. Paper marbling is a process by which ink floating on a surface is transferred onto paper to create a marbling effect. The art of paper marbling dates back to the 10th century when Japanese artists devised a process called suminagashi, which means floating ink. They used oil-based inks which floated on top of water to transfer marble patterns onto paper. I'm going to use a very similar process this week to show you how to make your own paper marbling. For this you will need some shaving cream, it cannot be gel, some toothpicks, some food colouring, some plates and some paper and scissors. The first thing I'm going to do is take 2 sheets of paper, fold these in half and then cut them in half while they are folded so that I have 4 cards. I'm then just going to set the 4 cards to the side. Now that my cards are set up and put to the side, I'm going to set up 2 marbling stations using 2 plates. I'm going to put shaving cream on top of both of the plates and spread it around with a spoon until I've got a good even spread on both plates, which is about ½ an inch thick. Next I'm going to select a couple of different colours of food colouring and just apply a couple of dots of each colour onto each set of my shaving foam. Because I'm going to be doing a comparison between one technique and another, I'm going to use the same colours on both, but it's entirely up to you what colours you want to use when you're making your paper marbling. It's important for this step that you use liquid food colouring because gel food colourings will not work. I've decided to use red, green and a little bit of blue. The next step is to use a toothpick to spread about the colours whatever way you want to create a marble pattern. Just try and not mix the colours too much. Now for the part I'm going to set up slightly differently for one of my plates. I have a spray bottle here with cold water in it and I am going to put a few squirts of this water onto the marble pattern on the plate on my right. Now that I've left the plate on the right for a minute since the water was sprayed on, it is time to create my paper marbling. I'll then be able to compare the transfer of the designs from the plate on the left and the plate on the right. So to create the paper marbling, I'm going to take one of the cards that I made earlier and I'm going to press the front of it down on top of the pattern on the plate on the left until the whole of the front of the card is covered in the shaving foam. I'm just going to leave the card sitting like that for 30 seconds so that the design can transfer over. Once you lift the paper out, you can scrape off the shaving foam with another toothpick. This will spread some of the colour that is on your card, but you'll see that your card still ends up with a nice marbling effect from the food colouring when you have scraped off the shaving foam. So now that I've done the card from the plate on the left, I'm going to do a card from the plate on the right, following the exact same process. I'm going to put the card lightly on top of the plate so that the front of the card is touching my marble pattern on the plate, and then I'm going to leave it for 30 seconds before lifting it off and scraping away the shaving foam with another toothpick. So that's me now got my 2 cards, one from the plate on the left and one from the plate on the right. The pattern worked better for the plate on the right because I'd managed to get the shaving foam a lot smoother on that side, so try and make sure you get the shaving foam as smooth as you can. That said, the colours on the one on the left seem to be coming through a bit more vibrantly than the ones on the card from the right. So what was actually going on in this activity that allowed us to make marbled cards, and how does it compare to the Japanese technique? Well, the shaving cream is what is called a surfactant. That means it has some molecules which are hydrophilic, meaning they like water, and some which are hydrophobic, meaning they don't like water. Food colouring is made of dye dissolved in water. So when it is put on top of the shaving cream, only the surface level of shaving cream allows the food colouring to be there because there are other molecules which are repelling the water. Paper, because it is wood based, is hydrophilic, which means it is going to absorb up the water and the dye from the food colouring. With the plate on the right, because I sprayed it with water, this allowed more of the food colouring to be absorbed by the shaving cream, and that is why the colours were a bit less vibrant on the plate from the right than they were on the plate from the left. This works just like the Japanese artist technique of having ink floating on water way back in the 10th century, only we have food colouring floating on top of shaving cream. Hydrophilic molecules and hydrophobic molecules are also what allow you to do the cool trick with cocoa powder and milk that I have demonstrated in short videos on this channel. So if you haven't seen those, I'll put links in the description for you to check those out. It's another cool science experiment, although it doesn't combine art with science like this activity has. So why don't you now have a go at creating your own marble paper patterns? And I'd be happy for you to share them with me on social media. You can find me at STEM with Mr. N on any social platforms, or you can email across your designs and I'd be happy to post them on my social media showing what you have come up with. Well, that's all for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe buttons to stay up to date on all future content. As always, I would like to take this opportunity to answer any science questions you have about any science topics at all. And also, this is where you can reach me if you want to email me your marble patterns and have me share them on social media. And that is stemwithmrn@outlook.com. And I'll get back to you with answers to your questions or to let you know when I'm sharing your pictures. You can subscribe to the channel by pushing the button here, and I've added links here to the other STEM demos and explanations I've done, here to my STEM career interviews, and here to my Things You Should Know series. This has been STEM with Mr. N, exploring paper marbling.